everyone, welcome back to Hands-Free Studying for the MBE, brought to you by Brainscape. These upcoming constitutional law questions cover the federal judicial system. Okay, let's get started. Question 1. Under Article 3, Section 2, federal courts have the jurisdiction to hear which types of cases and controversies? First, cases arising under the Constitution, laws, and treaties of the United States. Second, cases affecting foreign countries' ambassadors, public ministers, and consuls. 3, cases involving admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. 4, cases when the United States is a party. 5, cases between two or more states, or between a state and citizen of another state. 6, between citizens of different states or between citizens of the same state claiming lands under grants of different states, or between a state or its citizens and foreign states, citizens, or subjects. Question 2. The Supreme Court has what two types of jurisdiction? The Supreme Court has both original jurisdiction as well as appellate jurisdiction. Question 3. Over what type of cases does the Supreme Court have original jurisdiction? And from where is this power derived? The Supreme Court has original jurisdiction over cases involving ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, as well as those in which a state is a party. And this power is derived from Article 3, Section 2. Question 4. Can Congress modify the Supreme Court's original jurisdiction? No, but it can grant concurrent original jurisdiction to the lower federal courts. Question 5. What are the two ways for the Supreme Court to hear an appellate case? First, the Supreme Court can hear an appellate case through a writ of certiorari, which is a discretionary review, and the court will grant review if at least 4 of the justices vote to accept. The court can also hear an appellate case if it's a mandatory appeal, and these are appeals for injunctive decisions issued by 3-judge district court panels. Question 6. What is the adequate and independent state grounds rule? The Supreme Court will not hear an appeal from a state court decision that is supported by adequate and independent state grounds. Question 7. What can the Supreme Court do if it is unclear whether a decision rests on independent and adequate state grounds? The Supreme Court can hear the federal issue and then remand the state issue back to the state courts. Question 8. What is the exception to the adequate and independent state grounds rule? The exception is that the Supreme Court will review a state's court decision if the state law tracks federal law, and the state court has a practice of following federal interpretations of that particular law. Question 9. True or false? The Supreme Court will only correct a state court judgment if the state court incorrectly applied federal rights. True. Question 10. What is sovereign immunity? Sovereign immunity is a doctrine that holds the government cannot be sued for damages without its consent. And that's the end of your 10 flashcard study round. To reach full mastery, remember to study in Brainscape. Our mobile and web app uses the latest in spaced repetition techniques, allowing you to optimize your study time and track your progress down to the finest detail. Of course, when you're driving, cooking, exercising, or otherwise unable to navigate the app, be sure to keep listening to the rest of this hands-free studying playlist. No matter what subject you're learning and what method you're studying it, Brainscape helps you rise to your challenge.